Hi, and welcome to Beer Grilled Skinny, where a mother-daughter team embraces the random. I'm Lorianne, the daughter.
And I'm Justine, the mother.
Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into Memorial Day, because we're actually recording this on Memorial Day.
And I just want to say that all day long I've been so appreciative for the people who were willing to sacrifice to let me have this day here in the United States of America.
I suspect people have sacrificed as well in other places.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
But I definitely appreciate what they've done. And it's interesting, you did a little bit of research on this, and I was interested in the origins of Memorial Day. And what I can tell you for sure, a lot of people claim they're the origin of Memorial Day. But what we know is that it's definitely a woman that started Memorial Day. Women went around putting flowers on graves.
Yeah.
And it started in the South.
Yeah.
Those two things are definitive.
And initially they were called Decoration Day. It was absolutely to put flowers or decorations on the graves of people. And I don't know that all of them were graves of warriors. Some people kind of make it kin to Mexico's Day of the Dead, and I appreciate that day more than I used to, so...
I appreciate that you appreciate that, but you are just wrong. You are mistaken.
Oh, really?
Yes, Decoration Day was all about soldiers.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just period.
Okay.
And I think all we had back then were soldiers. I don't know if you know this. A lot of people don't know this, and I had to learn it. We only call the people who serve in the Army soldiers.
No, I didn't know that.
It's specific to the Army. And obviously, I say obviously, I don't think that we had a Navy back during the Civil War, but this all started around the Civil War. We didn't have anything like this before the Civil War.
And you know why it's called Civil War? Civil means citizens. It was a war among our citizens.
Okay.
I'm touched by that. Maybe it's too deep. Maybe I give too much emotion to it, but...
If it's possible to give emotion to a thing, you certainly are the winner in that regard.
There were good people on both sides of the Civil War.
Thank you, President Trump.
Okay. I didn't know he said that.
He didn't. There was a big protest in Charlottesville a few years ago, and someone took his quote out of context. He was talking about the protests on both sides, and so he said there were good people on both sides, and certain organizations took that out of context to imply that he was somehow celebrating the white supremacists. He was not. If you listen to the whole quote, he starts off by saying, this is just absolutely unacceptable, that kind of thing. But now, anytime I hear the word on both sides, it's kind of like...
Well, not to get political, but to be caring about different people. There were black people who appreciated so much the Union soldiers coming to set them free that when there was a mass grave of them, over 200 soldiers...
Almost 300, in fact.
They dug them up and gave them a proper burial. So, yeah, there's just...
And that's what I mean by this started in the South. I did not get to find out the race of the first woman that did it in Columbus, Georgia. But having been to Columbus, Georgia recently, I highly suspect that she was of African-American descent. And I could be wrong. It could be a white woman. I don't know. Do they have black people named Mary Ann? Y'all should chime in.
Mary Ann.
Was she black?
No.
That's what I just said. Do they have African Americans named Mary Ann?
Oh, I thought you were saying it the other way.
No. So comment. Let us know if you are of African American descent and you're named Mary Ann.
Yes.
We'd
please.
like to hear from you.
Or one.
For example, my mom was originally named Norma, and it was years, once we started getting the internet and stuff, we found out that's a pretty common name in Hispanic cultures. But she's definitely nothing but white. Pure lily white. Just white. If she goes out into the sun, she burns. It's not pretty. She's pretty. But she's not able to take the sun. Let's put it that way.
So, also, it did not really become an official day until 1971. So.
Oh, that's incorrect.
I just looked it up.
I'm happy for you, but I have my receipts right here. And this became a holiday.
Which it's not a holiday. They shouldn't call it a holiday.
Okay, I know we're going to be so weepy. Oh, it's so sad. A holiday is a day when we're not working. That's all that means. It doesn't have to be a happy holiday. It can be an unhappy holiday. However, John A. Logan of the Grand Army of the Republic declared Memorial Day on May 30th, 1868.
And what was his title?
Commander-in-Chief John A. Logan.
Of what? Commander-in-Chief of what?
I don't know, probably the U.S. Did we have a president named Logan?
No, we didn't.
Okay, all right. Let's find out who John A. Logan is. He was an American soldier and politician. He served in the Mexican-American War and was a general in the Union Army in the American Civil War. He served the state of Illinois as a state representative, a U.S. representative, and a U.S. senator, and was an unsuccessful candidate for vice president of the United States as James G. Blaine's running mate in the election of 1884. As the third commander-in-chief of the Grand Army of the Republic.
Okay.
So back then, we called the Army the Grand Army of the Republic.
So it came to a vote with our Congress in 1971.
Oh,
You know, anybody can declare things, but it became official in 1971.
okay. The only thing that changed in 1971, man, you are not good at the research. And you should not compete with me. The only thing that Congress did in 1971 was change it to the last Monday in May and standardized it as Memorial Day.
Okay, standardized it. All right.
That's not what made it official. Everyone was still observing it
Yeah.
every year up until then. And it's interesting that it started after the Civil War in the South. So in the South, people were just any soldier, they would decorate their graves. Like you said, you were correct about it being called Decoration Day. When Logan decided to make it official, they just decided they were only going to decorate Union graves. And I think that's because we looked at all of the soldiers in the South as traitors.
Could be.
I mean, they were traitors
Yeah.
to the United States.
Yeah.
They didn't know they were traitors. And, you know, the winners write history.
Yeah.
If they had won, I guess we'd have a bunch of slaves still, and
And maybe two countries instead of one.
maybe. I've studied this a lot. The Union won primarily because they had manufacturing and they could keep making
Yeah.
bullets and stuff.
Yeah.
The South had agriculture.
Yeah.
And we've kind of kept that going, not necessarily in a north-south way, but in a city versus rural way. Again, not trying to get too political here, folks, but we all know how that war worked out, and it worked out for the best, obviously. Getting rid of slavery was a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. If we could only get rid of modern-day slavery, which involves trafficking women and children,
Yeah.
but it's not legal, and that's the thing that's different. Slavery was legal before the Civil
Yeah.
War. Now it's not legal. We still have to hunt people down.
Yeah.
But nobody's sitting back going, sure, go ahead, grab these women and children and do whatever you want with them. We like to find them and make them pay.
So, one of the things that I discovered regarding the Decoration Day thing.
And it's so typical, sorry to interrupt, but it's so typical that a woman would come up with this because, you know, here's a plot of ground. Men are like, all right, we got you buried. You're all sorted out. Thank you for your service. And women are like, well, we should honor it somehow with something pretty.
Yeah.
So you were going to say?
I was going to say that what I had discovered was Decoration Day was different for different groups of people here in the United States. And so I discovered that for my people, Southern Appalachia, that Decoration Day also included a little bit of pagan part of celebrating death. I think that's
I'm
why-
sorry, celebrating death?
Celebrating people who had died.
Okay.
So I went looking to just see if that really was part of my roots, and it was. And so I'm thinking very strongly about how what some people call fantasy, even though I haven't proven it, I don't think it's fantasy. I think we do get involved with people on the other side, and that's partly too because, you know, I talk to my mom.
And you believe that she talks back to you?
I do.
By the way, this whole thing where you forget that we're a mother-daughter duo, and you say, this is part of my roots. I guess that makes it part of my roots then.
I guess it does. And I think you kind of agree with me, but
I definitely think there is something that there is another side, and there's something on the
Yes.
other side.
yes.
We've both had interactions, and every person I've ever spoken to that's honest has had some sort of interaction with the other side.
Yeah.
For example, my sister-in-law, her grandmother passed away, and she didn't know that her grandmother had passed away. So she's in bed, and her grandmother comes for a visit in spirit form, and she wouldn't listen to what she had to say. She just freaked out so bad. She was just like, go away, go away, go away, go away. And finally her grandmother gave up and left, and then the phone rang, and her mom called her and told her that her grandmother had passed away. So...
I bet she regrets not listening.
No, she's perfectly happy with her choice not to listen.
Oh, really?
She doesn't want to hear from the other side. I'm over here going, tell me what's going on, folks. I'd like proof.
Yeah.
And all they do is smile.
And smile, yeah. That's what you get, is a smile.
I remember when Granny passed away. Have we told this story of how she passed away? I don't know if we have or not.
I don't either.
If we're repeating ourselves, feel free to fast forward. Maybe give us a comment and say, I heard this on a different episode. But anyhow, my grandfather came to my mother and said that he was going to take my grandmother to the other side.
No.
He was tired of waiting.
Grandfather was dead.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of the
I
point.
know the way you let into it is like he just came walking into the nursing
Right,
home.
I'm going to just come murder my wife. No, he had been gone for many, many years. And Mom told me this, and I just thought she was nuts. Of course I thought she was nuts. Then she goes to visit my grandmother at the nursing home. And the nurse comes up to my mother and says, your mom is packing because she thinks she's going somewhere with her husband. And that's when we knew it had to be real. Thus, I said out into the ether, because I can't hear my grandfather, I just said, Paw, everybody's going to come up here and say goodbye to Granny. So if you could just wait until we do that, because he had been wanting to take her for a while, and Mom just kept going, no, I got to keep her. Now, she was not having the best life in the nursing home. She fought to live all the years that she lived,
she did.
but it wasn't, some of us would say it was not the most wonderful life. I mean, there's a reason why I'm not sticking you in a nursing home. So I just set out into the ether, Paw, don't take her until after we all get together and say goodbye to her. So everyone came up, her mom's brother, my uncle, his kids, his wife, and then us. And the kids' wives. Both of his kids are sons, and they had wives. And we took Granny into this wonderful little room. I sang for her. She smiled really big.
We had dessert.
Yes,
It was Christmas time.
Yeah, it was a really lovely time. And then we finished, and everyone had left. And I turned around and looked down the hallway, and I said, okay, Paw, you can take her now. And within 2 days, she was gone.
Now, wonder how he took her. I would like to know.
But you might find out one day.
Oh, I'm
Hopefully
sure
not
I
for
will.
another 20 years or so.
Well, I'm sure I'll find out, but yeah,
And then,
they're so secretive.
I hope you're going to cheat and tell me all the secrets when you get on the other side.
Well, you bet.
I mean, unless you're going to get in some serious trouble. It seems like there might be serious trouble if they tell you stuff. I don't know what that's all about.
I don't know either. Maybe even though this planet full of people is in chaotic disarray, it would be worse if they knew certain things.
I remember I watched I think it was a modern-day Twilight Zone episode, but it was some sort of speculative fiction show in which everyone found out that they were going to get reincarnated every time they died. And it led to people just, every time things weren't going well, they'd commit suicide because they knew they're just going to reboot, essentially. And then it just turned the world into chaos, knowing that you're coming back.
Yeah,
And I feel like that could be...
that could definitely be the reasoning. I mean, if it was so good over there, and like we say,
Well, that's
Granny
true if it's really
and
good.
Aunt
People
Clara-
might just be like, I'm done here.
I
This
know.
place is sucky.
Yeah. And whatever the system is that's set up, we need to follow the system.
Well, I have no idea.
I
You know,
know.
I make up stories. I love fantasy.
Yeah.
In my story, you rebirth on a different planet every time you pass away. Because this is a big universe.
Yeah, it is.
And the idea that this is the only planet,
Yeah.
my hope is that I get to keep my husband with me and you, and that we all still know each other.
Yeah.
I think all the cats are waiting.
I know.
They're like, y'all are so dumb. Maybe when we get over there, we can actually understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
Same with the dogs. I love that poem about the Rainbow Bridge.
I know.
That was written by a young girl who lost a dog, and it just went viral. Well, we've definitely gotten off the track of Memorial Day, and yet we are kind of talking about
I know.
memories and
Yeah.
remembering. I definitely appreciate the men and women that sacrifice their lives to keep us free.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart anytime any of them pass in the line
Yeah.
of duty.
Yeah.
And I really want to get it across to people to stop saying Happy Memorial Day.
I know.
You wouldn't go up to someone and say Happy Funeral Day.
I know.
It's the same thing. You can say Happy Veterans Day because the veterans are still alive.
Yeah.
But the ones we're memorializing are not, and there's nothing happy about it.
Yeah. I know. I'm like thinking reverential thoughts
Are
for
you?
people. I haven't been able to think of any of our people having died in a war.
Really? Well, that's true. Uncle Just came home, and
Yeah.
did Uncle Alice go over there?
He didn't go there. He was working on building the battleships.
And that's what Pawpaw ended up
Yeah.
doing because they wouldn't let him go to his eyesight.
Yeah.
I know that my uncle and his best friend didn't go to Vietnam because somewhere along the way, Granny and Pawpaw decided they were conscientious objectors and they raised your
that
brother to
is.
be that way.
That's the brethren way. Peace.
Okay.
And people look at peace
Peace
so
without
differently.
force is not real peace. But, hey, I don't know if we have any brethren listeners, but I would love to hear your explanation for pacifism. Are you willing to just die? Because there are wicked people out there that will
There
kill
are.
you.
I know, and this is funny but not funny because my mom converted into the Brethren Church from Baptist.
I know, and Baptists, they're fighters, man.
I know, and so my dad had to take this business trip to New York, and we were being threatened by the KKK.
Okay, you're going beer grilled skinny on
That's
us.
okay. And so
Let
she
me
put
explain why. Since she brought it up. They were being threatened by the KKK because my grandfather got the bright idea of helping to start an NAACP chapter in their town. And the KKK didn't much care for that.
Yeah.
He was a problematic person, but and some would even call him racist because he had some crazy ideas about
And
marriage.
Yeah.
But he really definitely cared about everyone having equal rights under the law.
Yeah.
And that's why he helped.
And
do
that
that.
wasn't the only reason, because when he was living the life of a hobo, he had left home because of the Depression, and he didn't want to be, a burden on his dad. And he said it was black people that kept him fed as he took the trains down south.
Oh, he went
So,
south?
Yeah.
For some reason, I always pictured him going west.
Nope. And he never ended up in Georgia. And when he finally moved there, he was so sorry that he had not seen it first.
Georgia is a beautiful state.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
There's something about those Georgia pines. They're different from the other pine
know.
trees.
Yeah.
The smell is different. The look is different. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so he started the NAACP chapter in, Waynesboro, Virginia. And then he went on a business trip, and the KKK starts threatening his family. They're like,
Yeah.
we're going to come over here and burn a cross. Lead into how my grandmother was a terrible pacifist.
Because she put me in the bed with her and Steve at the end of the bed and laid a rifle between the two of us.
And just stayed up all night
Yep.
waiting.
Yep.
But they didn't. They made threatening phone calls, but they never actually
Yeah.
came over and
No.
burnt a cross.
No, they never did that. I think,
They might have known what my grandfather would do when he got
Yeah,
back from his business trip. Because
or maybe they didn't
he
even
was
know
not a
he
man
was
of
there.
fear.
That he
That's
was
true.
not
They
there.
they might have been like, okay, we're going to do this. Well, are we going to do this? Because let me tell you about my grandfather. When my mom was getting born, the
Yeah.
doctor came over, and my grandmother was really struggling. And this dumbass doctor says, I'm going to go see this other patient, and because she's not going to finish the labor anytime soon, so I'll come back. And my grandfather gets his rifle off the wall, and he's like, no, that's actually not what you're going to do. You're going to stay here and deliver this baby.
Yes.
which he did, and then that was the last time my grandmother got pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, he had no idea what a woman went through to bear a child. Plus, me being the child, I had a big head. So it was a real struggle.
We have that in common.
Yeah.
My biggest problem was trying to come out face first, but
Yeah.
there you go. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this random
Beer Grilled Skinny episode.
of Memorial Day.
Yeah.
We appreciate the fact that we have the freedom to sit here and jack our jaws about our lives.
Yeah.
Thanks to the veterans that made this possible, the ones that are alive and the ones that have passed. I really appreciate you. So does my mother. And anyone that wants to comment, we would love to hear what you have to say. Subscribe
Okay. And comment.
and like if you want to get more content like this. Thank you so much.
With dreams in our hearts and the world in our sight, we'll be a grill skinny, ready